Hello YouTube, it's Sign here, Tommy's a Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another manga first impressions review. Today we're going to be looking at No Guns Life Volume 1, and this is a pretty cool story actually. I picked it up because I really like this, the look of this and the aesthetic of the art style a lot. It's very grungy. Yeah, so No Guns Life is written by Tasuku Karasuma, and this is a Viz title. This is a Viz signature title, as you guys can see up there. Here's what this looks like. And in terms of the edition, there's no color pages, which is kind of disappointing, but not that big of a deal. I mean, it does bother me, but not too much because this is only a $13 volume. It's not that big of a deal. If it was 20 though, I would definitely be upset. Or 15, like the Gundam Thunderbolts, I would be upset if it didn't have color pages. But 12 bucks is really a pretty average manga price at this point in time. So it's not that bad. Demographic-wise, this is a seinen as far as I can tell. And in terms of genres, this is sci-fi, very clearly. It's more of the societal type of sci-fi, not with aliens, just with advanced technology, specifically with like robotic enhancements on people. And you could also argue that this is a cyberpunk type story. Now, I don't really have much experience with cyberpunk. I don't really think I've seen or read anything that is a cyberpunk style sci-fi. Well, actually I have, but that wasn't the main genre of that story. And it was only for one book, so it doesn't really count. But, you know, stuff like Judge Dredd, RoboCop, Blade Runner, I think is also cyberpunk. Basically, very Asian looking kind of stuff with huge mega corporations, mostly with angry white people. Like that's basically what cyberpunk is. So yeah, I think this does have an adaptation, which is kind of interesting. I think that's what made it popular enough to get published in English. I don't see it being published in English otherwise, but I'm not too sure. So if you guys know for sure, let me know down in the comments. But as far as I'm aware, this does have an adaptation. It was actually pretty good from what I understand. In terms of a premise here, we basically have this gun-headed PI guy, a private investigator type of person. He's called Juzo the Resolver, which is funny because he has a revolver for a head, and so there's kind of this kind of joke to his name, which is fun. And this guy happens to be an extended. He's actually an old model. He was a wartime extended, which is a person that was augmented with robotic parts in order to what's called be greater than a baseline human. And he's a relatively old guy from what it seems like, but he has very specific, differences to other extended because he was a wartime model, if that makes sense. And now he works as a private investigator kind of person, and he gets roped into this conspiracy type situation where he has to protect this young child who happens to have an extended gear on him that happens to be a very powerful power, and now he is being hunted by this mega corporation, and Juzo has to take care of him. So it's a pretty interesting story. Compared to Heart Gear, this is a little bit less of the philosophical type sci-fi. You know, Heart Gear definitely takes after Isaac Asimov's kind of iRobot type of series, where the robots and the human are working together in order to figure out the idea about what life is. At least that's what I remember from iRobot. I'm not too sure, honestly. But this one is more of like an action-y kind of setting, and it does have thematic elements to it. Like this one really tries to hone in on the idea of freedom and what it means to be free. And this is, I think, more or less an extension of the fact that it is a cyberpunk type story where everyone is a cog in the machine of the mega corporations that run everything around them. So I think it's really cool. It does work really, really nicely, and the art style is great. I think that's probably the most important talking point here, because more or less what it offers otherwise is pretty standard in terms of, you know, this kind of like more societally based sci-fi type stories. But the art style here is actually pretty interesting. It has a very cool, very grungy, kind of like messy style to it that I like. Sometimes it does make the fight scenes a tiny bit confusing, but not too much, honestly. So yeah, And this mangaka, very similarly to Takaki, happens to be a bit horny with his female character design. Let me see if I can show you. There you go. But I think that's also kind of par for the course with sci-fi. Maybe not so much modern sci-fi, but older sci-fi definitely was very much about badass dudes and hot ladies, right? So yeah, there really isn't much else to say about this story. I really like it, but I think it's difficult to kind of really tell you much about it without really getting into the nitty-gritty, like what is happening in the story type kind of review. And I don't really want to do that right now because I haven't really covered enough of the story here to really feel comfortable doing so. But the first impression is great. I really loved it. I'm really happy that I bought 2 and 3 the other day that I went to Madness Games and Comics to celebrate Free Comic Book Day because they had a sale. I picked up the next 2 volumes, and I'm really happy I did because I would have really wanted to buy them right now after I had just finished this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you guys think about No Guns Life or any other kind of grungy sci-fi story that you guys have been reading recently. Let me know down in the comments. Also, check out Heart Gear. I did a pretty poor job at selling it in my previous my first Heart Gear video, but I definitely want to try better for the Heart Gear review. So hopefully that one is a little bit better. I don't know if that's going to come out before or after this one, but I hope it does come out better than the first impressions review that I did for it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.